Hi, I am Donald Robertson, and this is my daughter and best friend,
Poppy Robertson from England, and comment down below in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Just say where you're watching from. We're in Nova Scotia in Canada today.
I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do that.
And we are going to have a look at this book.
Okay, your time's up.
So it is about the cynic philosopher Diogenes, and it's called
Diogenes by...
it's by M.D. Usher. The pictures by Michael Chesworth, it says here. Yep. And so let's dive right in, I think, and have a look at it. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. This is the story of a remarkable dog who lived a long time ago in ancient Greece. His name was Diogenes. And there you can see.
Okay, and I'll tell you, he's sitting on a rock with the butterflies, and he's tied up, and he's kind of mad.
I don't think he was really a dog, but
Yeah,
he is in this book. Most dogs in this world are content with their doggy lives. They sit, stay, roll over, fetch, play dead, you know, the usual tricks dogs do for a treat, or to win a spot at the foot of their master's bed. Diogenes was different. He wanted to be his own master.
Oh, right. Sorry. He's looking at a butterfly, and the other people are just doing dog tricks.
Doing dog tricks.
And someone was throwing a bone.
He doesn't want to do those sort of dog tricks anymore. One day, while his friends were up to their usual tricks, Diogenes noticed a
mouse.
The mouse did not sit, stay, roll over, fetch, or play dead, nor did she worry about what kind of food she would eat or where she would sleep. She just scurried about, unafraid of the dark, unbothered, in fact, by anything at all. "Woof," said Diogenes softly. "I want to be like this mouse." What's happening there, Pops?
They're doing dog tricks. He's eating from the bowl, and the mouse is eating the crumbs, and then on the other page is just all the houses.
Oh, I said the dog houses.
You're gonna read what it says.
Well, that one says, I've read that bit, that says Diogenes, and that one says... Plato?
He's reading the exact word.
Yeah. Diogenes knew that in order to live like the mouse, he needed to learn some new tricks. So he did a very brave and unusual thing. He buried his collar and leash, left his cosy doghouse, and ran off to the city with his dog dish, a walking stick, and nothing more.
Diogenes, Plato, Socrates.
That's what the doghouses are. We'll show you. Quick show. Doghouses. For his friends. Diogenes felt unbelievably free, as if a great burden had been lifted from his back. "I like being my own master," he thought. So he's walking off there.
Yep, and
Where's
he's going to...
Where's he going? Athens. Boom!
Athens.
The greatest city in Greece in those days was Athens. So that's where Diogenes went. Athens was magnificent. It teemed with temples, had lots of temples, gardens, and luxurious art. But although the people of Athens were rich, they did not seem happy. They looked comfortable, but not content. Now this looks like a good place to try some new tricks, Diogenes thought to himself. What's that all about, Pops?
It's just big town. They're fighting a lot because in those days when you were rich, you didn't really you weren't happy, but when you weren't rich, you were happy. That's
Some people. Who's that? And there's like the Acropolis.
Yeah.
Who's that? What's the statue of?
Athena.
We think of Athena.
Sorry that I took your answer away.
That's okay. You're allowed. Diogenes' first trick was to need as little as possible and to want even less than that. When he was hungry, he begged for his food. When he was sleepy, he just curled up in an old pot or a barrel. He learnt other tricks too. To get used to the heat of summer, he'd roll around in hot sand. To get better at enduring winter's cold, he'd hug things covered in snow so they're like freezing cold. Sometimes he even begged from statues. Why in the world are you doing that? Someone asked him. To get good at being refused, he said with a smile. He really liked being his own master.
Okay, so at the top,
You see?
we can see that, yeah. Okay, so they're kind of, he's asking for something.
I think he's begging.
Yeah, he's begging. The other one, he's in his little barrel. He's hugging a freezing statue. And then the next one, he's
Begging for a
statue.
Diogenes was determined to live as simply as he could. One day he saw a young boy use his cupped hand to drink water. Woof, said Diogenes. Now that's a good trick. And he threw even his dog dish away. The Athenians wondered where this... Oh yeah, we're not there yet, but... The Athenians wondered where this odd dog had come from. Are you from Corinth, Sparta, Argos, or Thebes, they asked. None of these, said Diogenes proudly. The whole world is my home.
Okay, so the first one, he threw away his bowl because that little boy is drinking out of the water fountain with his hands. So,
And then he's just talking to a bunch of his friends, I guess.
yeah.
What is it?
Oh, a bunch of people that like him.
Yeah, interesting. What you see.
Because he can sometimes not be famous.
Diogenes was happy with his simple life. He spent his mornings in the park and lounged about all afternoon in the cool porches and temples of Athens. People asked him if he missed having his own house and garden. Why should I? He replied, waving his paw at the great buildings and beauty around him. I live like a king. Oh.
Okay, so first one. There's a bunch of people on it with a tree, and then, if you can see me, can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Right there. Is the net, and then the dog. Trying to catch the dog. Not the other one, they're just chilling, talking to people again. There's some guards right there.
Behind him.
Yeah.
Cool. People thought Diogenes was strange. Sometimes he would walk through the town in broad daylight, carrying a lantern or a lamp. What in the world are you doing with that lantern, people would ask. Looking for a good man, he would reply with a bark. Good people, you know, are often so hard to find, you need a light to see them, even in the sunshine. Diogenes soon became the most famous dog in Greece. People travelled from all over to see his latest trick. One morning, as he was sunning himself in front of his pot, the ruler of the world, Alexander the Great, stopped by for a visit.
Okay, so the first one, he's looking for something with a lantern. There's a bunch of statues. And then on the other one, he's sleeping, and there's Alexander's shadow. Wait, put it back up.
Okay, boss.
That thing.
The shadow? Yeah. Oh, you're pointing. Boom! Alexander was a king. He was powerful and rich and thought a lot of himself. Ask for whatever you want, said Alexander, puffing out his chest with pride, and you shall have it. But Diogenes was quite content with what he had. He was his own master. Diogenes yawned, and then opened one eye and made his request. Would you please step aside? You're blocking my son.
It's not his son.
That's true.
Okay, so he's standing in the sun on the first page, Alexander the Great. On the other page, he's kind of winking, yawning, with a bunch of people around him, asking if he can move away from the sun.
The king was taken aback. He said, scratching his head. If I weren't Alexander, I think I would want to be Diogenes.
Sorry.
Yes, this is a good life, thought Diogenes. Then one day, when Diogenes was walking through the countryside to look for good men there, a dog catcher, or a pirate, snatched him up and took him off to the pound.
Okay, so on the first page, Alexander is just gone weird.
He's a bit confused.
Yeah.
Bless him.
And then on the other page at the top, they're walking, and with a lamp, and the dog catcher is behind the tree. And then he's gonna catch the dog.
Catches him.
Catches you.
Now he's in prison. The pound was dark and dingy and damp. Diogenes thought of the mouse. I'm still my own master, he said, with a twinkle in his eye. Not long after, a rich merchant happened to walk past the pound. He wore golden slippers and a silk gown, and you could tell he was very fond of his money. Diogenes pointed at the man and yapped. Hey, give me to him. He needs to learn a trick or two.
Okay, so the first page is these two little boys fighting over a bone, and they're upset except for Diogenes. And the other one, they're all upset but Diogenes, and he wants that rich man to buy him so he can take care of it.
So he can become his boss, kind of, his teacher or whatever. The man, who in his heart was a good man, stopped to have a look at Diogenes. What tricks can you do? He asked. I know how to be my own master, Diogenes said, wagging his tail. And I can teach you to be your own master too. The man was intrigued. This must be an exceptionally smart dog, he said to himself. So he brought Diogenes home to take care of his children.
Okay, so, yeah, over here on the first page, it's kind of like he's saying, can you buy me? I like lots of tricks and stuff like that. And on the other page, sitting on the rug, he's watching them.
So it's like like.
We'll be it for tonight.
Well,
Bye. I'm kidding.
right, we're nearly at the end.
Yeah,
The children loved Diogenes, and he loved them too. Together they romped and roamed, and of course, Diogenes taught the whole family every trick he knew. Pops.
Oh wait, they're drinking out of water fountain without any cups, and there's a mouse. And on the next page, barrows.
We've all got barrels now.
I'm just gonna stand here.
You're just going to sit on me for a bit. People say it's a dog's life, and you know, if a dog's his own master, they're absolutely right. Boom. The end.
Yes, and that guy is Diogenes in real life.
Diogenes in real life, ladies and gentlemen, with his dog and his cup
To save everyone.
and stuff. So, yeah. So this kind of the end, and there's another little picture here, which I don't know if you can see if I hold it really close. That's from the 1st century BC, and it's a relief that shows Diogenes speaking to Alexander the Great. How cool is that? So this is a really cool little book, and Poppy's read it like a zillion times, and she really likes it. And I would recommend it. I think like we had to get a used copy of it or something because, you know, maybe it's out of print or whatever, but you can still get copies from Amazon or whatever. So that's really cool. So 1, 2,
Bye!
3, bye! Bye, everybody!
Bye!
Bye!